Welcome to this week's Spinfoil Theory. We're about to take a dive into the lore of Destiny the game. Specifically, we'll be giving a high-level scrutiny to popular, emerging, and outlying theories, then judging them. With that out of the way, let's put on our Spinfoil hats and get a little crazy. Here comes this week's show. Live recording. Recorded live in front of the toys on my desk.
Yep.
Welcome to the Spinfoil Theory podcast. We are your hosts. This is LadyLucida, and as always, with me is LadyLucida. How are you doing this week, Lucy?
I'm doing pretty good. You know. Vibing. It's fall now. Can have.
Yes.
Is it officially fall? Because it's almost the. I think so. Yeah.
I think it.
And, now it's officially fall. So like, you got the crunchy leaves, you got the pumpkins, you got the spooky vibes going, and of course you got pumpkin spice lattes.
Mm-hmm. The pumpkin spice, everything really. My mom. I just went to visit my mom this past week, up in Michigan, and we drove up there from the DC, DC proper where we live, and that's like a. It's like a 9.5, 10-hour drive if you drive straight the whole time.
You're
stop
crazy.
Breaks obviously takes longer. Well, I split the drive with my partner Kari, so it wasn't that bad. And I actually did some work from elsewhere. So I was tethered to my hotspot and working while she was driving.
Oh my god,
it was pretty cool. Things I never thought I could have done when I was a kid. But yeah, so that was cool. But she used a term that I had never heard before for part of this time of year. So it's, when people will go to an area that has a lot of foliage, a lot of beautiful fall scenery to look at the leaves of the trees. I've only ever heard those people called leafers. And she called them leaf peepers.
What? I don't even know.
Right?
What? What the heck? That's wild. I didn't even know that.
Yeah.
I didn't even know that was a thing. I didn't even know that was a thing. That's a thing?
Oh, that's a total thing. People will drive or do a short vacation or a weekend someplace. Where so around here we have the Blue Ridge Mountains, and then maybe an hour or two away we have the Alleghenies, which is the Appalachian Plateau. And those are just really beautiful because it's they're ridge type mountains, so there's just trees covering them. It doesn't get rocky.
Oh.
Yeah. But I mean, except for the places where they blasted through it to build the road, and that's also cool. But so it's it's really beautiful, and you'll have a lot of people who go out to maybe parts of Western Pennsylvania or West Virginia, which is I guess a little bit on the Blue Ridge if you count Harper's Ferry, but it's just right there. And they're also in the Alleghenies, but it's just beautiful area. Yeah, you'll definitely have people who drive out to just look at it. But I'm on the fence. I don't know how I feel about the term leaf peepers.
I think the whole thing just sounds weird. It's trees. Trees are trees.
It was funny when we were driving through Ohio, I think more than anywhere else, where they had when you're going through the middle of it, they just had a lot of farmland.
Yep.
And it was there'd be these little, it's big fields of farms, and I know nothing about farming, so there's probably some listeners who are Taylor P. It's obviously this, so feel free to tell me what it is. But it's you'll have this huge expanse of open land and relatively flatness that they've got their crops on, and then you just have this bunch of little trees.
Yeah, I don't know.
At some random end of the property. Yeah, I heard it had to do with water retention and stuff like that. But I'm just this is
also it
this
would
is
probably, depending on how big the tree is, it would be a pain in the ass to get it out of the ground because of how. If they need to remove it, maybe I don't know.
It's a bunch of them. It's a bunch of them. So it's on the middle of this what I'll call a hectare of land, right? You'll just have a strip of let's say 10 by 30 trees.
Oh wow. Yeah, I don't know that.
And it's you can tell that used to be like they just left it there when they were clearing out the other stuff. But I don't understand why. But I think it has something to do with water retention. Like that may have been like a marshier place to start with. I don't know enough about it. Sorry. Welcome to the the Leaf Peeper podcast.
No, Taylor, we're not.
Marshes and all things fall. Oh, man, sorry. Getting back on track. If you think we should call them leaf peepers at Spinfoil Theory, tell us how you really feel. But getting back on track, we after technical difficulties and scheduling difficulties,
all the difficulties,
like I fell. Well, it was a whole thing. I didn't really fall. Don't cry for me.
I dropped a fridge on my foot. That did actually.
Wait, you did?
Yes, I did actually.
When did you? How? You were carrying a fridge. Like, I want to start off by being impressed.
Oh, no. It was a two-person thing. It was a two-person job. But we had a mini fridge upstairs, and the more we looked at it, the more we're like, we don't ever use this mini fridge, so let's get it out of here. It's taking up space. It's ugly. It's gross. We don't need it up here. So we were taking it downstairs, and our stairs going downstairs are kind of steep, and my hands, as we were carrying it, my hand slipped, and the fridge went bonk on my foot. Luckily, I was wearing shoes, but my foot still got bruised anyways. It really hurt.
Yeah.
I didn't break anything. Nothing broke or anything. It hit more like the top of my, more towards my ankle than my toesies. So it just really hurt. I was like, ouchies, that hurt. But then I just picked it up and we just kept going. Kept going down the stairs. I was like, this is fine. And then afterwards, after we got the fridge in the garage and I sat down for a sec and the kind of adrenaline wore off, I was like, ow, God, my foot. So we got some ice on it and it was... My foot, eventually, I got super bruised, and I was like, okay. But now I'm fine. But it's just that happened, and then scheduling conflicts kept popping up. But I was like, okay, this time works for me. And you're like, nah, man, I can't do that time. And then you're like, okay, we can do this day. And I was like, nope, can't work for me. So I was back and forth, but we finally found a time, a day.
We found the equilibrium, which was our regular time.
Yep. Should have just done with that in the first place, but no.
It'd be like that at times. But yeah, so, after getting through all that, we are bringing to you our investigation into Kingsfall. Dun, 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 dun.
Yes, dramatic music intensify.
Kingsfall theme here.
Non-copyright Kingsfall music.
We can use it. We can use it for this.
We can. I know. I'm just being silly. Just play the Taken King theme on a off-tune kazoo. Just do 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 do.
Okay, new project.
Oh no!
I wrote
What was I done?
What was I done? Kingsfall theme in off-tune
kazoo.
Be on the lookout for that whenever I get a kazoo.
Oh no!
And learn how to play. I guess you just hum.
Yes.
But in here. Kingsfall is one of the communities, and this investigator included his favorite raid.
Really?
It's one of my favorites.
I would have thinking I did not expect that. I didn't think that would be your favorite.
Oh yeah, so back in the day when this first came out, I was still pretty new. I'd played a lot of video games in my life, but I'd never really played first-person shooters.
Mm-hmm.
So for the longest time, the first two raids was stand over here and shoot stuff, try not to die. And friends was trying to carry me to get through it and stuff like that. And this was the first one. I don't know if it was just luck or whatever, but all of my buddies were having trouble with the platforming.
Really?
And
That's funny.
platforming was something I had down.
You're like, finally, I'm useful.
Well, yeah, you name it, 2D, 3D, sandbox, levels, first person, third person. I have played, even by then, I had played a lot of platforming games. And that's not to say I'm awesome at it. It's just like, this is a lot more comfortable for me. So that was like the first time like I always had a job and was getting in on the first raids was because I could do the running.
But see, now in D2, it's random. It's not like whoever jumps up on the plate. So now everyone has to know how to jump.
I know, which is good, but I still miss it. I missed having my defined job. I would time it to the theme song from the Transformers movie.
You're silly. But yeah.
Yeah, that's one of my favorites. I don't know. It's one of yours too, right, Lizzie? I thought you were all about the Kingsfall and the Hive and. Friends.
Yes, the Hive are my favorite, as everyone knows. I pretty much love the Hive so much. However, big however, Kingsfall, surprisingly, it's gonna sound very controversial. It's not my favorite raid. It's not. My favorite raid is the Crota raid. I loved the Crota raid. It was a lot. Because, see, back in D1, I wasn't as advanced in my Destiny career. I wasn't as good. I was still new. Mm-hmm. Even though I'd started since the beginning, I was very much a solo player. Like, I didn't really have a lot of friends. I mean, some of my friends, and this is going to make everyone feel really old, because I'm not that old. But when I was in high school, when Destiny came out, a lot of my friends did play, but it's like everyone kind of had their own little group of people, and I was kind of in this weird, awkward spot where I was like, they would have enough people in their group, and I would just be like a odd one out. So I didn't really get to raid too much. But especially when Kingsfall came out, like Crota, I did a bit. That's why I liked Crota, because that was like my first real. I did Vogue, but I remember my first time doing Vogue, and they were trying to cheese Atheon to have him fall off the map. I was a hunter, so they said, "Oh, you're useless. Go stand in the corner." And I was like, "Oh, okay." So I stood in the corner and didn't do much. I don't remember my first like ever like raid clear like ever. It's been so long. My brain is mush.
It was funny. I think Crota was really good for hunters too, because until as many people like struggled to get up in light for Crota to do it, like hunters being able to go invisible through the first part was actually like pretty handy.
Oh yeah, because we had Invis didn't Night Stalkers didn't exist, but Blade Dancers. That's the whole reason why I picked Hunter, by the way. Was because the description of Blade Dancers sounds super cool. That's it. That's the only reason why I picked Hunter. I was like, ooh, going invisible? I like going invisible. That's my whole thing. I like being sneaky.
Note to future Taylor, make a meme that there's really just like two kinds of hunters. Like, go invisible, graceful, like, melee weapon. And then there's like...
Yeehaw cowboy.
Your spurs go jingle, jangle, jingle.
Jingle, jangle, jingle. Oh my god.
There's no in between.
Yeah.
I am totally the latter. Like, I am totally like pew pew, like yippee ki yay, motherfucker.
You very much are cowboy.
Yeah, no, that is 100% who my hunter is.
And I am very much the opposite. I'm like sneaky sneak.
Yeah, no, I'm still, even this season, I haven't played as much, or as I've played every week, but it's like I haven't played as hardcore as I have every season. Like, I am still very much like loving what they did with Solar. I'm just like, this is fun, and people are like, oh, this is that and such the other. I'm like, just like, I guess you can yell at me to stop having fun, but like, I'm having a blast.
Yeah, like I said, like. What's really nice now that all of the subclasses are now the 3.0 version is that like there's a lot. I think there's a lot more build crafting you can do, a lot more choices, which I really like. And like it's really nice seeing like all three of the sub, like Arc, Solar, Void, to now be in the same like type.
The same like level of customization.
Yeah, level of customization. Because when Void first came out, Void was better than Solar or Arc, and then Solar came out, so Solar was now better than Arc, and Void was still better than Arc, and Arc was just like sad. But now this season, Arc is now good too, and they're all good at their own thing, which I really, really like. I like that, like, you know, Arc is speed. I like going fast. I love Arc. Arc Titan is literally the most fun I've ever had. And I'm just like, am I hanging up my cape? Am I gonna wear a butt towel from now on? Am I gonna be Titan forever? I don't know. Like, this is pretty fun. It was pretty fun. I'm just like, zoom. Because I run Arc Titan with Thunder Crash, obviously. Because why not yeet yourself? Thunder Crash, Dune Marchers, and the Thruster class ability instead of my Barricade. Because who needs barricades when you're going fast? And I have 100 resilience and 100 strength. And this whole build where basically I generate wells with my melee, and that gives me... Picking up elemental wells gives me melee energy, and I get charged with light, heavy-handed. You know, this whole feedback loop, if I get my melee, and I pretty much almost have it again. Over and over and over and over and over, which is pretty fun. But yeah, all about the punch. I even have a build in Dim that's just called Punchy McPunch, and it's just Dune Marchers, my aspects, my fragments. I think I have a 1-2 punch arc shotgun, and then an SMG or something. Like,
that's pretty cool.
I don't know, I just really like, and then also this season with the new perks like Jolt or Jolt shot.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's called Jolt
shot.
Something. It's arc themed, which I'm like, I really think that's cool that we now have Avoid, Verb, Repulsor Brace. We have Solar. We have Incandescent for Solar, and then we have Jolt shot for Arc, and then we have for Stasis we have Chill Clip and Headstone. Which I just think that's really cool that there's now these, because Bungie has done these new verbiage, these new perks, and that kind of thing. They can now make weapon perks that kind of feed into that. And I just think that's really, really cool, and it allows even more build crafting stuff, because you can be like, oh, because like for me, for example, on my Void Hunter, most people would run the Void Dodge, or Dodge turns you invisible. And then Quickfall. I do not run the dodge to turn invisible. I run the other one. Because I have a fragment that when I yeet my nade, it makes my void weapon volatile. That void weapon has Repulsor Brace on it, which means anytime I kill a debuffed enemy, void debuff, so weaken, suppress, volatile, it gives me an overshield. But also because I'm running that fragment, or that aspect, that makes it so when I kill a weakened enemy, I turn, wait for it, invisible. So I turn invisible, and I get an overshield, and then I run the other fragment that increases the duration of positive buffs, so Devour, Invis, Overshield, so it lasts a lot longer too. So like for me, Repulsor Brace, I love Repulsor Brace. It's like, I'm like, whoever made this, I just want to give them a high five. Because it's so cool. It's so cool. And then, like, I just think that's really cool. Because, like, maybe... Like, the fact is they have all of these options now. Like, Bungie can be a lot more creative with, like, the perks they make. Instead of just like, oh, this makes your gun do more damage after a kill, like Rampage.
Oh, yeah, no, I do something similar with my like you have like everything like, you know, synergizing. I do something similar with my gunslinger. Like it's all around me making trip mines and gunpowder gambles. Yeah. So like I'll sit there with well, and I still have the I add the like Emperor of Tempering just so I can get like a little bit of like healing in there. Like
that's cool. That's good. That's good.
To start in, but then it's just like Solar Ignitions grant grenade energy. I apply more Scorch to targets. Defeating Scorch targets gives me melee energy, and then the weighted throwing knife will ignite scorch targets, and I'm just running around with that and what is it? My where is this guy? My Drang with Wellspring and Incandescent.
I was just gonna say either Drang is really good, or if you have the SMG, Mighty Mini Tool.
Oh, the Callus Mini Tool.
Yeah,
I have that too. I have one with Unrelenting and Incandescent. It kind of depends on what I'm doing. Like what mood I'm in might make more sense.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then what you need to go even Gigabrain is because remember they buffed LMGs, heavy machine guns.
Yeah.
The dungeon heavy machine gun, you can craft it with Incandescent.
What? I
Yeah.
should get that actually.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. We should do the dungeon sometime. It'd be super fun.
I'm down.
Hell
I'm
yeah.
down. Accepted. Accepted, because what is it? The dungeon one is what, fixed odds?
It's fixed odds, and then there's the Epicurean, the fusion.
Fusion.
The fusion is void, so it's repulsor brace.
Okay. I don't think I've gotten any patterns for either of those, or if I did, I haven't done them yet.
Yeah, no. It's okay, like it's the hard part for that is getting the patterns. It's, I guess the patterns, I've seen more people get the patterns on master mode, so maybe they have a higher drop chance. I don't know. Who knows?
I'm gonna try that.
Yeah, because I finally got the LMG the other day, and I crafted it with Incandescent, and I'm like, oh, this is pretty nasty. Like, good.
Yeah, I was gonna say. I'll only be a little jelly, but quietly.
Yes. And in the first column, you can get killing tally. Kills increase this weapon's damage until it's stowed and reloaded. So if you run enhanced killing tally, which gives you enhanced, it doesn't make the stat better. It just gives you more magazine.
Okay.
Which that's pretty good on an LMG, having plus 10 to your magazine. Like.
Yeah.
Yeah, and
yes,
then let me look. Yeah, you can have fixed odd. No, I'm a liar, McLiarson, killing tally, and incandescent in the same column. Whoopsies. I'm a liar, McLiarson, cool, but no, still very cool. Yeah, you can have under pressure. You can have encore. I'm just trying to think of like what's good. Like the problem is for this LMG, it's like what's good. Is oh yeah, there's I forgot there's Feeding Frenzy. Duh. Feeding Frenzy. Yeah, Feeding Frenzy was a Feeding Frenzy and Incandescent is probably what I'm gonna grab. There's also Field Prep, but I
don't like that as much.
Yeah, I definitely think. Or there's under pressure. As the magazine gets lower, you get more stability and accuracy.
I like it. Yeah, that's a good one too. Okay. That's a new consideration, because what I was running was just like, whatever strongest in the slot, really.
Yeah.
Not really even.
But now you can synergize more. You can run, because LMGs now, they're pretty good. I like them. I've always liked heavy machine guns, but like now they're like pretty damn good.
I liked them in D1, and I liked them for a while in Crucible too, like especially the high impact ones.
I see. Yeah.
Because I feel like you got the most out of your ammo in PvP with those. Because it'd be like 1, 2, 3, you're dead. And you could also get the max range with those though too. So okay, sorry guys, we came here to talk about Kingsfall, but you've learned a lot of sweet builds and cool other stuff.
Yes.
Yeah,
we got sidetracked a little bit. Whoopsies.
You knew what you signed up for, listener. you knew what this was. But yeah, okay. So to start with Kingsfall, I thought what we might do, Lucy, tell me how you feel about this way of investigating. Let's start by talking about where it takes place.
Well, for those new to Kingsfall, like they didn't play it in D1, Kingsfall takes place on the Dreadnought, which is basically Hive. If they're super duper duper strong, they eventually become so strong that they get a pocket dimension. That's called the Throne World. So like Savathun has a throne world. Oryx has a throne world. Crota, throne world. Nokris, no throne world. He's a little bitch. He doesn't get one. But basically, how the Hive work is they have this throne world, and when they're outside of the throne world, you can kill them as many times, but it won't. They can just keep coming back forever. It doesn't matter. You have to basically go in their house, their throne world, and kill them there, then they're permanently killed. Savathun is a special case because she's now a light bearer. So, she has a little asterisk next to her name. She doesn't count. But basically...
Yeah, and I would say Mara probably too.
Yeah, Mara does have a throne world. Mm-hmm. But she's not a hive, obviously. I mean, like, you've seen her. She's awoken.
And she's
you're just
also touched a little by light too. Like...
Yeah, well, she's awoken. Awoken are paracausal. Tiny bit of paracausal. Not like a lot, like us, Guardians. But like, small, baby paracausal. But, she ended up carving a throne world with the help of Rivet and Ahamkara. So, again, her she's on this list of people who have throne worlds, but hers and Savathun's have little asterisks next to them. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. But yeah, Oryx, my man Oryx. He is one of the 3 Hive Pantheon gods. So I got Oryx, the Taken King, Zivarath, god of war, and Savathun, Hive god of cunning and lies. Those are the big 3. Yeah, they pretty much traveled together for a very, very long time up until a certain point where they're like, hey, yo, we need to separate. We're encroaching too much on each other's territory because, as you guys probably know, Hive, they have these worms in them. And they need to kill to feed their worm. Otherwise, their worm is going to eat them for breakfast. And they don't want to die, so they just have to keep killing things. But the problem is, with these 3 big Hive Pantheons traveling as a group, is it's just like, however much there's not enough to go around. So like, alright, we're going to split up. Savathun, you go that way. Zivarath, you go that way. Oryx, I'm going to go this way.
I'm going to be honest, I feel like how that conversation happened is when they said, Zivarath, you go, like, she's already on the War Moon.
She's already gone.
Like, already gone.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Just like, oh, split up? Okay.
She's like, already gone. Zoom. But Oryx basically had his throne world. And his throne world ended up getting attacked by the Vex. That's a whole nother episode. We could literally just do the history of the Hive. Unless, haven't we already done? I think we did that already.
Well, we did History of the Moon.
Of the Moon. We didn't do a Book of Sorrows
episode? We did
episode?
part 1 and then part 2. I can go over it, but we haven't done...
I
touched upon it.
I thought we did a Book of Sorrows. That's why I was doing like a TLDR version. TLDR, as you guys probably...
No. I want to say we did do it.
I feel like we did. That's why I'm like, I think we did.
But, well, that's what we started talking about last week, too.
Yeah.
Or last time in the technical difficulty time. Sorry, yeah. I keep interrupting. Sorry.
No, it's okay. It's all good. It's all good. Yeah. So basically, the Hive, before they became the Hive, they were this little race called the Krill. If you've played The Witch Queen, you kind of got the gist of it. But I'll do a abridged TLDR version. TLDR, Hive were this little race called the Krill. They only lived 10 years. The Ozium princesses, Zivu, Oryx, and Savathun. Their dad went crazy and died. He had a pet hive worm that was telling him whispers. So they took the hive worm, and the hive worm told them where to go. And they went down into the this gas giant called the Fundament. And on their way there, they were stopped by this big giant creature called the Leviathan. Leviathan said, no, don't go any deeper in the ocean, the Fundament. You're going to see bad stuff. You need to work with the light and be good. And the 3 Hive siblings were like, nah, man. The light sucks. You suck. Go away. And they went past the Leviathan. The Leviathan's like, oh no, that's bad. The Leviathan ran away. Hive siblings go down, and they meet the Worm Gods. And the Worm Gods are like, yo, we can solve your short lifespan problem. You just have to pledge yourself to the darkness. And they're just like, okay, seems legit. And they, shook hands, business deal obtained, done. They got the worms. They ate the worm. They didn't eat the worm. I guess they ate the... Ingested the... I don't know. I don't want to think about that, but...
Ingest implies eating, but, like, I want to say it's probably, like, a more, like, paracausal thing that they're doing.
Yes, they now have a little worm inside them that is telling them to kill. So, they go back up to, the floating islands of, like, their people above Fundament, and, they distribute the worms to their people, and the worms are, like, and the hive are like, yay! Then they leave, and they go start killing, and killing, and killing, and killing. Lots of different species. They just eradicate, genocide. They don't care. And then they get to a point where their worms are too hungry. Too hungry. They can't kill enough to feed their worms, so they make a pyramid scheme, multi-level marketing plan of the hive, where basically the little thralls kill enough to feed their worm, and they give the rest of the tribute up to the acolytes. The acolytes kill enough to feed their worm and give the tribute up to the knights, to the wizards, to the hive princes, all the way up until it reaches Oryx, and Oryx gets all this yummy tribute, which feeds his worm. But then eventually he's like, yo, I'm kind of lonely and sad. I want kids. So bam, he has kids. Crota, the golden child, the eater of hope.
He's a pretty cool dude.
Crota is his favorite child. I'm just stating that is...
I'm just imagining every time he watches Crota just, like, be the most, like, basic, like, yeah, like, they're doing the magic, and Crota's just kind of, like, whacking people with his sword, and, like, Oryx just stand there background, like, look at him go.
Yeah, pretty much. It's like, look at my son. He's doing so good. But yeah, so he has Crota, and then there's Ir Halak and I forget the other one. Basically, the twins. They are the original Death Singers. They're the ones who came up with the Death Song. They're my favorite. They're my favorite.
Well, don't they learn it from
Savathun? No. They don't learn it from Savathuni. They go to Savathun and sing the Death Song and kill everyone there. And Savathun gets really pissed off about it, and it's really funny.
Oh, it's Iriute who learns it from Savathun,
yes.
I want to say.
Iriute probably learns it from them. I wouldn't be surprised.
Oh, and Iranuk is the
Iranuk, yes.
Ir-Halak and Iranuk.
Yes, I love Ir-Halak. That's why I remember. Yeah. They're both really cool. They're kind of the, like, I wouldn't want to say second in command to Orc. They're pretty high up in the pyramid scheme. They're, like, I think right below him, probably. Mm-hmm. They're a part of his court, and his court is, like, they're his, like, top lieutenants, top dog. Like, very, very old, very powerful hive are the, in the court of Oryx, which we also kill. Because we kill everything. Because that's what we do. I digress. Anyways, so he has his daughters. He has, his son, Crota. Probably has lots of other unnamed offspring, too, that are unmentioned because they didn't do anything noteworthy. And then we have, of course, his emo, edgy son, Nokris. I saved Nokris for last because Nokris is the heretic child who goes against Oryx's will. And Oryx says, do not go talk to the worm gods. That is my job. They talk to me, and then I tell them what you said. It's like, and that sort of thing. Like, it's like there are rules. And Nokris is like, nah, I'm gonna go talk to the worm gods. So he goes and talks to the worm gods. Because he's like, my brother, Crota, he may be strong, like, with a sword, but I'm strong with my mind. I'm sneaky. So he basically went and talked to the worm gods. The worm gods kind of ignored him, except Zol, the smallest worm god. Zol and him made a deal. Said, okay, I'll help you, you help me. We'll be both friends. We're friends now. We're best buddies. So, and then they eventually leave. Because Oryx finds out that Nokris did that, and Oryx is like, get out. Your name is struck from the books of sorrow. Your name is struck from the world's grave. And the only mention of Nokris in D1 is that one statue right before you kill, air quotes, Oryx. I say air quotes because you kill him, but you don't actually perma-kill him. He goes into his throne world and he's like, haha, you can't kill me. That was fake. Fake news. But yeah, that's the Hive in a nutshell. At one point, Crota and his two sisters were in Oryx's throne world. Oryx was like, alright, you guys are in charge. I'll be right back. I'm gonna go talk to the darkness. BRB. And he goes to talk to the darkness. And they're like, okay, what are we gonna do while he's gone? And Crota's like, Savathun pops up and says, hey, Crota, you should try making your own throne world and cut a hole right here. And he's like, oh, okay. He cuts a hole in reality. And that makes the Vex come in Oryx's throne world like a bunch of cockroaches, I guess. And they fight because the Hive don't really know, because the Vex just keep coming out of this portal and they can't close it because there's just so many Vex. They're just like, ah. And I remember one of the daughters is like, Father will have our head for this. Like, oh no, this is bad. And all this other like stuff. And they eventually, Oryx comes back, and because his worm, one of the worm gods was like, hey Oryx, you might want to go back to your house, things are not looking good. So he comes back, he's like, oh my god, I left for literally 5 minutes, and you kids do this? And he literally picks Crota up by his foot. I can literally picture this part in my head, it's so funny in the Books of Sorrow. Oryx picks Crota up by his foot and says, be victorious or die forgotten, and just throws Oryx in the portal and closes it behind him.
Mm-hmm.
And then Crota has to fight his way through the Vex and get
from the past.
Yeah, and then ends up wherever he ends up, and eventually Crota, at first, was all like, Dad, going through a rebellious phase, like, Dad, I'm not gonna kill for you. I'm gonna kill for me. I'm gonna make myself strong. And then eventually he comes to respect his father and gets temples made in his honor, which is why on the moon you have a shrine of Oryx. That's why that's there, because Crota was like, yo, I respect my father. My father, he did this to make me strong. So. Yeah.
Actually, I always imagine that scene as Oryx throwing him through the gate, and like as soon as he's like fully through the gate, like a door opens and you see like battle-worn, like hundreds of years older Crota just walk back through.
That'd be funny. And he's like, I'm back, and he's like, what the hell? How did you?
Yeah, that was a long time ago.
Yeah. But as a result of that and the Vex, Oryx ends up taking his throne world and putting it on the Dreadnought so no one else can get to him. Can sneak in. And that sort of thing. But one of the things he found, he took the Vex, a special Vex mind named Curia, which if you have played Destiny at all last year, you might recognize that name. And then Oryx takes Curia and gives it as a gift to Savathun, says, here, not my problem. And now Savathun had it, and Savathun used it to do all kinds of scheming.
Yeah, and we ended up killing it in Season of the Splicer.
Correctamundos.
Which was a fun one. That was a fun one. That was one of my favorite aesthetically.
The lo-fi
seasons. Oh yeah, lo-fi. It was like lo-fi Tron.
Yeah, that was cool.
Yeah. You were inside the computer.
Really was Tron, man. I love Tron. Tron's so cool. But yeah.
Tron's a cool one.
That's the TLDR of Oryx's history. That's why when we killed Crota, that's why Oryx got so pissed. Like he was angry. Because we killed it's like killing your we killed his son. And
and his best contributor.
yeah, Crota was a big part of Oryx's tribute. So
Yeah, and then we kill all the other big parts on our
yeah,
way
on
on
our
our way
way
to that fight.
yes, on our way to. That's why we won against Oryx. We kind of starved him, knocked the foundation of his house out from underneath of him.
Mm-hmm.
That's really the only way we can kill hive gods like that, is if we knock their foundation out from under them.
Yeah,
That's how we did it with Crota. That's how we did it with Oryx. My worry is with Xivu, because Xivu gets stronger because of war. Killing, kind of like Crota, but I'm just saying, like, I feel like even if we kill all of her tribute, she's just gonna be like, thanks for that boost, and then she just becomes even stronger.
Well, it's really interesting. Like, he got thrown into the Vex network, like, through a Vex gate, and unlike Guardians, he was able to come out again, like, on his own, and the whole time he's in there, like, they can't cut him off from the darkness because he just keeps creating it.
Yeah, he's
Through,
like super strong.
Everything that he does, like, he's just like, none of this, like, I don't care what it is, like, I'm gonna cut my way, like, through it. And it's, yeah, like, people shit on Crota, especially, like, since people cheesed by, like, knocking him off the stage. He was another one people would try to, or no, wait, people would do
the Ethernet cord.
Ooh, yeah, that one also.
Yeah, that's what a lot of
strictly console.
Yeah, a lot of people like shit on Crota, but I hope like that like Crota, like when they reprise the Crota raid, that he gets a proper raid instead of a baby strike.
Absolutely. I hope. Yeah, I like people are saying make it a strike, make it a dungeon. No. Make it a raid.
And just take Crota, amp it up to 11, make him put some Doom music, and bam. Make it actually
so
hard.
The first part.
Exactly, like make it actually hard. That's what I think would be cool.
Oh yeah, like we did one of the first times I did it, we had to do the first part the way you're supposed to, and that's like, I don't know, it's like core Destiny memory. I can still remember like running around with like the 5 other people in the fire team, like sticking close together, like at each one, like killing everything, and then like all right, we're running, like okay, like we gotta go now. Somebody dies, like leave them.
Pretty much, you're just like, well,
yeah. So that was that's always going to be fun to me. But all of that being said, with all of that background, where Kingsfall takes place on the Dreadnought is one of my favorite places in Destiny lore-wise, because it's the only place that has its own holiday.
Yes.
The Dreadnought, to make it so, because Oryx was the navigator, just of the 3 siblings, kind of crowned that when he took his form. That is to say, when he took his form of the King morph, he decided that his true nature was the navigator, and as Lucy just went over. And so what he decided to do was to invert, basically like take his throne world and pull it inside out. Except he pushed it inside out, and so that way it broke into and like sort of like calcified in this plane. So like if you're a fan of Stranger Things, like the Upside Down, it'd be like if the Upside Down tries to bleed over, but this would be like if it could create like a cyst, but the cyst isn't attached to anything; it's just like free moving. On this side, and also things can come and go from the cyst. but it makes sense, a ship for exploration, like that's where his home would always be, right? And kind of like Lizzie was saying, her home's wherever the battlefield is. So if you make an act of war on her, wherever you did that now becomes her throne world.
Yep.
It's just wild. So what we're doing here is we're not only like, I mean, this might be the first instance of taking over a vessel, of boarding an enemy vessel. Speaking of this during the season of piracy here, But we go aboard, we cut out Oryx's legs, and we'll get to who those guys are here in a second. But like that's how it starts. We're going in, like we're assaulting his house, and when it first came into when it first came into the system, we were allowed to do that because Mara and her Techians blew it out. Like basically, I don't want to say like it's a very powerful assault, but it's not. I don't think of it in like the destructive sense. I think of it in like the disabling and crippling sense. It made it so his throne world had to like stop moving. Right there in the middle of Saturn's rings, where even now when you load in, like that's where you go, and like you can see from other planets. Was it Nessus? You can see it from other planets, like you have been able to the whole time.
Yeah, not Nessus. It was one Titan.
Yes, that's what it was. So maybe you can't see it anymore. But yeah, you like when Titan was a place, you could like look up at Saturn and see it's still there in the rings. It like creates that big of a space.
Yeah.
In the rings. Ugh. So that's how it starts, and there's a really cool cutscene. Future Taylor linked them to the cutscene. That will attach if you haven't seen it. That was
Is that the D1 cutscene?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that one was so cool. I cried.
Yeah, you're gonna see.
I remember watching that. Because I remember because that was back when Destiny came out at like 2:00 in the morning.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of thing. I set an alarm and I woke up at 2, and I watched that cutscene at 2:00 in the morning in my parents' living room because I was still in high school, and I remember watching that and Mara dying with air quotes. I was just like, no. I was really sad because Mara at the time was one of my favorite characters. I now think Mara is poo-poo garbage. Well, not poo-poo garbage.
All my homies hate Mara.
Well, no, she just shut up. I don't hate her. She's interesting because she's doing these big plays, but she's not letting anybody know her plan, which is frustrating because, like, you don't know what she's done until, like, after the fact, and you're just like, oh, there might have been another way. But she also sacrificed all of her people. And she's kind of she's very much Savathun's mirror, so.
Yeah, well, to add to that, I also think she's a very gray character. Like I really believe like one of the honest points of the Maraid or Maraid, I'm not sure how you're supposed to say it, but one of the most honest points in that is that what she does, all the manipulations that she makes, is all with the eventual goal of coming in and driving out whatever caused the collapse.
Yes.
And like saving humanity. And from her perspective, it's taken like she's been at this for millennia.
Very true.
So yeah. It's she's a very complex character. I don't know if she's morally, like, air quotes, good or bad. Definitely does a lot of like morally questionable things, but she is definitely on Earth's side. I will say that.
Yeah,
now,
for sure.
If that means she's always going to be on the Guardian side, ooh. But she's definitely on like the Earth side. So yeah, I'll give her that much credit. I do not worry about her like betraying us to the darkness or something silly, at least not on purpose. Ugh. Like in the dark future when she controlled the clone army.
Yes.
Oh, I like to think hers, because they're like awokenized, had like sleek Clone Wars armor now.
That'd be cool.
Phase 1 armor on the Cabal. All right, I digress. But that's where you enter in. So from there, you go into the Hall of Souls. The Hall of Souls is a pretty interesting place. It's a lot of it reminds me of like the insides of a church in a lot of ways. The vaulted architecture, caving in. A lot of the statues are kind of like in this like prayer or like that sort of like hive / sometimes Vex darkness worship pose.
Yeah.
Yeah. And yeah, I really enjoyed it. And you make your way through and you're into this first place. It's kind of like the Court of Oryx. Was in D1, which was like a mini. It was like a live world, like sort of like mini game. What you would do is you would summon bosses, and this was part of like the stuff you had to do to like just get to the point we're discussing in the raid. But just learning about the sword logic is a great way to look at it. Like you're challenging. Well, okay, like kill them with however many dudes that we're gonna send at you, and challenge like these members of the court, and then you like take them down. Like there's one guy who's like a carbon copy of Crota, but he like kind of sucks. So he's just a Court of Oryx boss. That was the first time they brought back Crota, and people didn't know the mechanic with the sword.
Yeah.
It was pretty funny. But people learned. Whenever you see a Crota, you got to take his sword and beat him with it. Like, just,
pretty much.
Long story short. So you go into there, and what you're doing in that place is you're kind of gathering tithes almost at different points, and you're feeding them into the statues, and you're powering them up so that you'll open this gate and gain entry like into the next like layer of going deeper inside the throne world might be a better way to look at it, because with the hive and in the abyss, it's always kind of like that like sinking thing, just like they did as Lucy covered when they go to the bottom of Fundament in the Needle ship. They're like cutting into the depths. So this is kind of like a similar thing. Like you're mirroring that descent a lot in this raid. You're forcing your will upon this different safeguards and tributes Oryx has. So once you get through that, you go into this. It's one of my favorites. It's like the first jumping puzzle that you're gonna come across.
The jumping puzzle, not the jumping puzzle.
Yeah, I love
the tomb ship jumping puzzle. I've gotten really better at it now, but
it feels easier now with
being
able to mantle. Because in D1 you couldn't mantle. I don't know if you guys, listeners, you all knew this, but so jumping puzzles were a lot less forgiving. Like you basically needed to make sure your feet hit the thing you needed to land on, whereas now you have like a little bit of grace in mantling. But so this I like this. I like that it's the same though, because like even now it's like, oh, like like toward the end I was like, wait, not the first one. don't jump on this first one. Wait for the next one. Jump. So that's a really fun one. But you go into there, and it's like this big open space, and it to me it almost had this quality of like you're on the edges of the ship, and this is like a thoroughfare, like you're on the edge of like a launching bay where Oryx like sends out his brood to like go do what Hive do. I don't really know if there's like distinct machinations each time, but it's like you're going through that, and like they're going through these networks of like portals. They're phasing in and out as you jump through. So like this is like a really cool scene, and yeah, if you don't like jumping puzzles, you don't like platforming, you're probably not going to enjoy that. So next is as you go back into the go back into the interior, I guess, of the space of the Dreadnought. You're in this basilica, like you're in the proper like the proper place of worship within that sort of like worshipy architecture I described to you earlier. And this is where you find the War Priest. Now, the War Priest is one of my he's an interesting character.
The War Priest is a Giga Chad.
Yeah. The dude is like, he is, I would say, like, Oryx's like number one fan. In a lot of ways, like in the point of worship, like he was the first one to worship. He's like just reading from here. I'll read from his card, because this is back when Destiny was primarily lore cards. I'll read his card for you guys. But the War Priest, 580 times he paced the way. Under each circuit was a world. He took up the worlds. He placed them in his hand, he weighed them. From the golden amputation to the gift mast. The principle he put upon his brow was slaughter, constant and escalating. The principles he put behind his eyes was victory, which was the last true shape. The principle he put into his hands was tribute, to Oryx, king of taking, tithing to his lord, that the first navigator might escape the need to kill for subsistence, the worm need, that he might use his power to lead the final work. A most faithful servant, most faithful. From the mighty Crota, son of navigation, sword of pits, he learned to make his oversoul, saying, "Challenge me by the law of my ascendance. Match me in bloodshed, or in blood be drowned." Whoa! So yeah, Giga Chad is not a wrong term here. Is not. This guy is like the leader of, I don't know. He's like the base of the top of the pyramid, the base of the pedestal, and he is the one who is like doling out the religion of tithing, the religion of the sword logic, to all the little hives below. And he is pissed like that you would even show up to try and get past him in his basilica, his place of worship to Oryx, and to just like killing. Like, it might be a better way to say, like, what do you think, Lucy? It might be a better way to say, like, it's not that he worships Oryx, it's that like he's a true like priest of the sword logic.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah, and he uses some stuff. They mentioned Crota, like some of those mechanics too, like the oversoul. Like, just like if you can't stand up to him, you're just dead. If you can't hide, you're just dead. And that's a fun fight too. I won't get into the mechanics, but that's a fun one. If you haven't done the raid, like highly recommend. And you kind of like disrupt his he's like performing like a ritual, and you kind of like disrupt what he's going to do, like, so you can damage him. Like at each point there's like different guys who are coming out to try and, you know, make sure you fail that challenge, and that his oversoul has time to kill you, or an opportunity to kill you might be a better way. But you know, the more you like put them down, like the weaker he becomes, which is almost like a great like sort of instant microcosm of the pyramid scheme. Like the more you like kill his boys, his ads, like the more you have an opportunity to like just like wreck him.
Yes. His fight, I think, has always been one of my favorites.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. It's really pretty too, with the pillars.
Indeed.
Yeah. And the coordination between like your little teams of two. Okay. Moving on from there, though, you go down. You go into the depths, and you find Golgoroth. Do you want to tell him about Golgoroth?
Golgoroth is a very ugly baby. No, he's not really a baby. He's probably one of the ugliest looking ogres I've ever seen in my life. He has little spider claws on his back. Very ugly. And
would Golgoroth be a she?
I don't think so.
Well, because all of the
No.
the ogres the ogres are like force fed like mutated thrall, and all the thrall are women.
No.
Female, I guess is a better way to say it.
No, it's a male.
Okay,
No lore tab.
interesting.
It's a male.
I just thought of him like big thrall.
Yeah, and yes, not all thrall are women. They're not like bees. I think they're.
Oh, I thought they were like born that way, and then like their morph determined.
I think with hive, gender is very, very different than.
It's like fluid.
Yes, that's how I think. It doesn't really matter to them. Yes. Golgoroth is a very ugly baby. Giant ogre. I'm just trying to find his lore tab. Golgoroth.
I think I got you.
Grimoire. Thank you, I found it, yes. Basically, Golgoroth was sent to try and kill Oryx from Zol. And basically Oryx said, nah, you're not doing that, and basically cut up Oryx didn't, sorry. Oryx told his worm god, to basically change the shape of Golgoroth into something else. So it became Golgoroth. And then Crota was like, hey, I will give me your tablets of ruin and I will wear them into battle and become strong for you. And tithe all the kills to you. And Oryx was like, nah, I'm gonna have this ugly Golgoroth baby guard my tablet of ruin. And Crota's like, but I wanted to make you proud, Dad. No, he doesn't care. Yeah.
And it's really interesting. So Zol is the, correct me if I'm wrong, isn't Zol the worm that Nokris
Yes.
ends up becoming wholesale darkness worship with?
Yepper Dippers. The one and the same.
Damn. Yeah, so a good way to look at this is like Oryx and the rest of the Hive have this MLM thing set up, and then here this asshole Nokris comes and basically like opens up like, I don't know, like a Sam's Club or like a BJ's. He's like, no man, wholesale, just come in here. This is the Costco of darkness.
Costco of darkness. And the other Hive are like, hey, yo, you can't build a Costco next to our Sam's Club. You can't do that. We do the same thing. One of us has to leave, and that's you. So get out.
Mm-hmm.
That's basically what happened.
Send his ass to Mars.
Pretty much.
So yeah, this is a gift from one of the worms. It's not even air quotes gift. It's not even from probably because back during when that whole bit was going down, I bet. So yeah, Golgoroth is a fun like, I don't know. It's the sort of like crabby spider arms coming out of the back that really really do it. And Golgoroth has like exposed organs. Like it is, or I guess like an exposed heart of darkness, maybe. Either way, it's crazy. So then comes everyone's favorite part. The second jumping puzzle, or as many of us affectionately call it, the dick wall. This jumping puzzle, for anyone who hasn't done it, I understand how they arrived at this shape, but it's just funny. There are like pneumatic pistons as you try to go across this wall that will literally just like boop you off, just like shoot out in random intervals.
The dick wall.
It's like it's kind of like the proto Taken boops.
But in the D2 version, they have both the dick walls and the boops. They're taking poops, so it's worse.
It's got something for everybody. Sorry. So is worse. And this is also where you can find my favorite part of the raid, what I affectionately call the real court of Oryx. Where you can go square up for your homies. If you gotta like jump into a little hole in the wall, like a little awkwardly across from where you start. But once you go in, you'll find this spark, and you're just in this little room, and all you do is like once you pick up the spark, is you can go dunk it. And the reason it's called the real court of Oryx is because that's where you can play basketball with your homies in D2. I sincerely believe Oryx just has a basketball room. Like that's how he's been keeping like all the other like people in his pyramid and Crota in check. It's not that he's stronger. Is that he can ball. You know, their business might be in death, but ball is life. I'll see myself out. Sorry about that, guys. I promise to at least take a break from terrible jokes for a few minutes. But that once you make it past that room, now what you're supposed to do is kind of throughout the raid, you've been following what many people have come to learn was Toland, which is this like disembodied spark who's like leading you the different pathways throughout the raid. Toland will lead you like back and across, and what you're supposed to do in this part is open up, like have people stand and create different kind of like you did in the first jumping puzzle, but create ways for like the team to get across. Then once they're across, they'll stand on something on their end, and you can go. Type of thing, like hold the place. But the reality of it is you can jump up to where you get the secret chest, and then just kind of jump across to the second part of the puzzle and get there just fine. So it's kind of funny, but it's I'm glad they left that in. They didn't like force you to do it. You can do it the right way, or you can just do it the way you're used to, just jumping. But once you do that, that's when you go in and you enter in the kind of like final inner chamber. You enter the throne room, and this is where it will eventually meet Oryx, but first you got to get past his daughters, and that's going to be, let me pull up some stuff for them, because they have their own cards. So you have Irhalak and Iranuk, and Irhalak's card reads, Oryx was dividing the spawn. He cut apart the larvae with his sword, and the two divided pieces grew into twins. She who stands ahead at the prow of the ship of Oryx, her father, she is Irhalak, the unraveler. She plies her blades upon the fabric of space, cuts the seams, pulls apart the cloth, leaves worlds in tatters. So what she's doing is standing on the bow of the ship, and this is how it moves around in this world. But what she does is, because it can't exist in this space, she undoes space in front of the path of the ship so that it can go there. And so just being on the ship and this ship just existing is like a moving tear, like a moving wound on this plane.
I just think
really
that's
interesting
neat.
to think about. Yeah. It's a really cool concept. It reminds me, are you a fan of Futurama?
Nope. I've never seen it before in my life.
All right. Well, check it out. For anyone who's a fan of Futurama, at one point, like a takeaway thing is how their ship moves. The professor says, we're not moving the ship through the universe. The reason it goes so fast is because we're moving the universe around the ship.
Ah.
Right? Which is also very cool. But then here's the card for Ir Anuk. Behind the Unraveler comes Ir Anuk, the Weaver. She takes in hand the threads of her sister's work, weaves them into the tapestry of Oryx's realm. Listen, Anuk, Anuk who favors bitter things. Of the 11 axioms, chose one. Of the 11 axioms, choose one. Of the chosen, spare none. Upon ear's attendants say, come, ear, look. This truth is dead. So what she's doing is, in a lot of ways, like weaving back together a universe post the dreadnought coming through it, but in a way that can exist without the dreadnought being there. And so maybe a good way to think about it is the way they move through the universe is like this three-dimensional, you know how like you have the two pieces of the zipper and the thing zipping and unzipping is moving along that? Just imagine that's everywhere. There are no ends and you can move it in any direction. That is how the dreadnought moves through our plane of existence. Unzipping and zipping behind it again.
So the Death Singers are just zippers. Understood. Just replace their pyramid head with zippers. There you go.
Their names are YKK.
Pretty
the
much.
Death Singers that before orcs cut them in two. It's also interesting that they like used to be like one person.
Yeah.
Well, I wonder if that means the Death Singers had like some level of like healing factor.
Well, maybe.
Be interesting. Or maybe it's like a magical, like metaphorical cut in twain.
Yeah.
Not quite as literal. But yeah, what you do with them is you disrupt that process.
Mm-hmm.
They're trying to fight you, they're trying to stop you, but you
they
basically
sing the
like
death
you
song.
kill one. Yeah. You kill one and then you got to kill the other. Or they'll resurrect. Or the other one will resurrect because where they hid their deaths is in each other.
Did they? So many people say that. But
I think it came up because in the story missions they're about to resurrect Crota through his soul. And you fight them there too.
I think people are getting the Death Singers, and there is a Court of Orcs boss that was 3 wizards. I think people are getting them mixed up because the 3 wizards in the Court of Orcs, they hid their death in each other. That's why you have to kill them all really, really fast, otherwise they'll respawn. The Death Singers, I don't think they didn't hid their deaths in each other. What they did is they were singing the death song. And if you don't kill them before the death song ends, you die. That's how the death song works. I'm sad that Bungie nerfed the death song in D2. Makes me very sad. Well, no. Just like in the Destiny 1 version, you could hear them singing. And in this one, you can't really hear them singing, which makes me really sad. Because
I gotcha.
I have the Taken King soundtrack, and one of the songs on there I had to actually remove from like my Destiny list because it's just them screaming. It's their Death Singer's Dire. I can link it in the chat, but fair warning, it's loud.
Ooh, what is it? Speaking of soundtracks, I think even still the or maybe it was for just Talk Like a Pirate Day, but the soundtrack from this season is or was up for free on the Bungie store.
Mm-hmm.
I snagged it because why not? Which if you wanna sound like a pirate long after it's done, yeah, this is your opportunity to live your best life. All right. So once you take out his daughters, it's time to confront Oryx. And this has the Taken King. Now this has, I think it has to do with field of view. In D1 you could not expand the field of view. Because for some reason in D1 it felt like he was so much more in your face when you ran up at the start of it. Where it's now it feels like any I'll get on the updated graphics, but now it just feels like he's farther back a little bit. It's less like it used to like trip people out, be like, yeah, just go look down, you gotta look down over there, like something really cool. And
Yeah,
like, ah.
That's what I did with my friend. One of my friends, they'd never done orcs in D1. Me being the evil troll that I am, I was like, hey friend, we explained how to do it and everything, and we're like, all right, we need you to. No, this is before we had explained it, actually. We did this as a joke. We're like, all right, before we explain it, you need to go up to that taken ball over there. There's a secret that spawns a secret chest. It was so mean. They went there, and then Oryx up, and they screamed. They're like, "Oh my god, what is that?" And then we all died.
It's like in Garden or
Yep, I do the same thing in Garden.
Like, yeah, just go through that portal.
It's in Garden. Yeah, I do the same thing. That's why you should never raid with me, because I'm a troll. But like, I still teach. I do that as like a funny.
Oh yeah, it's a rite of passage.
Exactly.
Yeah. Someone didn't tell you to run through the portal. What's the point? Are you really raiding?
Exactly.
I can dig it. Okay. So, you confront Oryx, and Oryx got such a glow up though. Like the textures, like the whole like body frame, like as he's shooting up the like up to the platform in his like giant form.
He big.
Yeah, but like Oryx is looking crisp. Like that. Hats off to the visual team. Like it looks great. Oryx looks great. And what you do in this raid is he is what's a good way to describe it?
He's basically what he's doing is he's trying to sacrifice all of this light to the worm gods.
Mm-hmm.
And we're basically disrupting that. And we channel this corrupted light back at him. We pretty much do an Uno reverse card on him. And that like hurts him because light hurts him. And then once he gets like, oh god, I got hurt from the corrupted light that we detonated, we kick his ass and we win.
It's pretty cool.
Mm-hmm.
Fighting light eaters.
Oh yeah, there's
the knights. You're exploding bombs that he had set up for you. You're like killing his like little like bearer and taking his shield.
Yeah. Like I definitely like the D2 version more than the D1 one, but I might be biased because like I only did Kingsfall in D1 like 3 times, like 3-4 times because like my issue was I finally learned about LFG when Taken King came out, but me being a girl in high school, I was scared to use LFG because I knew it was probably going to be bad.
Probably understandable. Yeah.
I never really learned how to do the raid, and then whenever I would go on LFG, I would say I don't know how to do it, and they would kick me or get mad. So I didn't really do Kingsfall much. Like I said, I didn't really get into like hardcore raiding and stuff until D2.
Yeah, that's okay. Sometimes you gotta find your people. But when you do, man, lots of fun.
Oh yeah.
So, I guess rounding it all out.
Coulda died. Coulda dead.
Yeah, coulda dead. There's also, now it's a drop, but there was also this fun hunt collecting all these different shards that were created from the blast that Mara did from that cutscene, like all these relics and
the calcified fragments.
Calcified fragments, yeah, were shot into the solar system, and and found in the raid. And you went through and you collected them all, and that's how you assembled the. You went and defeated Oryx again, because then you could like trap his heart inside this apparatus that you ended up like constructing.
And that's how you get Touch of Malice.
Yeah, that's how you OG got it. And then it was so like the Touch of Malice, it would fire like what was it like? It would
11
fire
bullets.
Yeah, but it would like keep firing unlimited bullets to I think like a certain like cap of power too.
No,
But like it would start to hurt you.
It would eat your health basically.
Yeah. Or yeah, maybe it hurt more when it started to like eat your health or something. But once you stood in, because that used to be like an immortality field. That like just like not only protected you from everything going on, but like constantly healed you. Which I think you can still get hurt in there now.
Yeah.
If like something in there is attacking you. But perfect place to use the Touch of Malice because you could just pop, 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 pop. Like it becomes the most like highest damaging thing in the game, but like only against Oryx, and it's using him against himself.
It's ironic.
Yeah. His heart couldn't destroy anything but himself.
Pretty much.
So yeah. And from there, once you defeat Oryx, his worm consumes him.
And he falls.
And he falls like a calcified husk. I don't know if calcified's the right word, like a dried up kind of like crystallized husk.
It's more crystallized, I think.
Yeah, a lot of people have said maybe it's a cocoon. Which I guess now we know what happens once they get light. Is they become the butterflies. Oh, I still need to order mine. Yeah. Oh, yeah. I can still order it till next year. Through next year. So I'll probably do that at some point. But yeah, you can still get if you get the Lepidopterist.
We're
Yeah,
talking about the little
about the moth.
Yeah. Oh yeah, no, I bought mine as soon as the store showed it. I bought it because it's a little hive moth, and they're cute.
Mm-hmm. It is pretty cool. It is pretty cool. Oh, and the Bungie store thing is related to Season of Plunder, so you have till through December. Everyone listening, it's just like playing I think last week's mission.
Yeah.
For the story, yeah. You can go get the soundtrack. That's a pretty cool one. That's a pretty cool one. So yeah, that is confirmed still up there. And yeah, I think I have to because especially now that I have the worm.
Yeah. Get a little buddy.
Well, he's got a little servitor. I don't have the Elixni baby, but I do have a little.
Not
servitor.
yet.
Not yet. Just get on the black market. Just get the.
I have a baby, the Elixni baby.
And now you can have like a whole like you can have all like a bunch of them. Sit there with all the babies. Which everyone, just live your best life. Love on the babies. So, and a lot of people think like that was the worm consuming. At this point, I'm willing to agree, but I also kind of wonder if it's ever since they were the Scrimp people, ever since they were the Grill, I feel like everything they've done, all their evolutions have, in a lot of ways, been controlled and tied to the Tithe. So I'm wondering if all that just got like taken away when he couldn't feed it anymore.
Maybe.
Now no deal. And like it's like, oh, like you've actually been dead since you hit 10 all those years ago. Like, oh no. Like what does a shrimp person look like after like 10,000 years? Just becomes like a fossil.
Immediate fossilization.
Yeah. I think that might be what happens. But yeah. And the Dreadnought has been like just hanging out in Saturn's rings ever since. The Vanguard has, and I think Owl Sector have sent people like they've been keeping tabs on it. They've been researching it. We did go back later in D2 to do some things because you don't just do the raid there in D1. You go in there and that's where you first kill the Darkblade.
Yep.
He's in the belly of it in the prison, which is that was a strike.
Oh, cool! The Darkblade.
Mm-hmm.
Rebelled
now
against the Oryx. Yep.
And Yeah, if you haven't read about Alakul is really cool. As Lucy was just saying, rebelled
He's the
against
Giga
orcs.
Chad. I say everyone's a Giga Chad. Everyone's. I use that word too much. It doesn't mean anything anymore. But
Well, it's really interesting because he did it for love.
yes, he rebelled against Oryx for the love to gain approval, appraisal of his mate, Varrock.
Mm-hmm.
He marched upon Oryx's throne and slew 1,000 thrall in her name. How romantic.
Mm-hmm. And Oryx did not kill this guy.
Huh?
He just threw him in a prison pit.
Well, because Alakul was basically Oryx's foster son. And
Okay.
so he kind of had like a kind of soft spot for him, kind of.
But not for oh man. For what's his face?
Nokris?
Yeah, I wanted to say Nazareth because I'm like seeing it trend on Twitter.
Oh, Nokris broke the rules. He doesn't care.
Yeah. Yeah, I guess at least what Alakul did was like within the rules of the sword logic.
Yeah.
So yeah. Oh wow, yeah. We put a dent in this one, Lizzie. We got some time in. I think that is there anything I'm forgetting? Is there anything else we do on the
Dreadnought?
On the Dreadnought? Yeah, because like if you guys want to go read about, they're kind of much more minor characters, so we're not going to get into each of the people you fight in the Court of Orcs, the sort of more like open world area on the Dreadnought, but it was also an open world area.
It was a patrol.
Yeah.
I loved patrolling there. I thought it was so fun.
But yeah, I don't think there's anything. I think that wraps up the investigation. Like, so yeah, you go into this. Yeah, this cyst that's moving between like raveling and unraveling the universe around it, to persist in this universe and move about. And you take out the top of the pyramid. You take out the final and most devastating people holding up Oryx. And then you take out the Taken King and you interrupt him from being able to commune with the worm gods.
Yep.
And then you take his heart.
And you put it in a gun.
Mm-hmm. As one does. Come on, we're all guardians here. Once we win, we make a gun. So yeah. It's definitely, if you can't pick up D1 and go play it, it's definitely something, at least like at very least like the cutscenes or like the audio parts, it's something worth looking up. Just the extent of what all you could explore and how it worked in D1, and then you can still experience the raid itself right now. Fresh came back this season here in D2, and I just highly recommend it. Bungie did just a bangarang job of bringing this up to D2. Like, bravo to you. But yeah, with that, I think, Lucy, you got any shout outs this week?
Shout outs? Oh no. I'm so bad at these. You go first.
Okay. I'm just gonna give shout outs. I had a nice week with my partner and my mom. Just like shout out to family. Yeah, I know. I definitely know it can be family can be a lot, but shout out to those good times with family. I hope you all get some of those, because we all need it. We all deserve it. Yeah, that's my shout out.
Very cool. Very nice.
Mm-hmm.
Now it's my turn.
I was gonna say, yeah.
Oh no. Oh no. It's my turn. I guess. I don't know. I'm very bad at these. because I never have anything to shout out because my life is pretty boring and basic. Pretty much is. It's very, very basic and boring and cringe. But, I guess, shout out to my co-host Taylor here for being the realist.
Oh, thank you.
And being
Appreciate that.
a cool co-host as we talk about Destiny.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Thank you so much. Made me smile.
You're welcome. It's my job.
All right. That reminds me. Guys, we have an announcement. We've loved being your hosts here on this Destiny show, but due to some good things happening in our lives, we aren't able to do this format anymore. It's all for good reasons. Actually, you know what, Lucy? How about you? You talk to him. You can share as much as you want. I can edit this out.
I talk? Okay. Oh. Yeah. I'm sorry, guys, but, some good things have to come to an end. And, I've been really lucky to, come on the show and talk about Destiny lore. It's been fun. But as one door closes, another door opens.
Guys, just so you know, good things do sometimes have to come to an end, but that doesn't mean everything is over. I think coming here soon, we're gonna have some good news to follow up with, and look out next week. I think we'll do a little goodbye, a little closeout for you. But we just wanted to give you a heads up now in case you wanted to add us with anything or have any last minute questions, I guess. But
or favorite moments. Add us with your favorite episode.
See what people enjoyed the most. But yeah. Yeah. So please, it's not goodbye forever. It's just it's the end of this, but it's not the end of everything. And we'll have some good news for you soon. With that uplifting, with that sweet note, everyone, you take care of yourself. Remember, just drink water. Get sleep. Just get enough to where you feel good. I'm not gonna mom you about it, but yeah, take care of yourself. And as best you can when you can, maybe each other too. I don't know, but yeah. And we'll see you next time. Bye-bye.
Doodles. Hats off, Guardians. That's it for this week's discussion. Have any questions or comments about this episode? You can reach out to us on Twitter @SpinfoilTheory or write us an email at spinfoiltheory@gmail.com. If you'd like to read our show notes, check out articles, listen to past episodes, and more, be sure to pay us a visit over at our website, spinfoiltheory.com.
The Lore Network.